Steffes Group, selling land and the equipment to farm it. When you are looking for reliable information on what's what out there on farming issues, ag updates, machinery, or land, the Linder Farm Network is your voice of Minnesota agriculture. Located out of Owatonna, Minnesota, the Linder Farm Network has been reporting on all things agriculture to both consumers and farmers since 1976, and giving all who listen an opportunity to chime in and engage in discussion. And here at Steffes, we've had the privilege of working with Linder Farm Network for over 15 years to discuss our current and upcoming events every week. Recently, at the Minnesota Farmers Union Farm Ag Day, our own Eric Gabrielson was invited up to the table to do a live event, and I was able to talk with Lynn Ketelsen about his career behind the mic and his relationship with Steffes.
I'm the manager, owner of the Linder Farm Network, and basically we cover the southern two-thirds of Minnesota into Iowa and South Dakota. We've been on the air for 40 years, the Farm Network. We've had a relationship, I don't know how many years with Steffes, but with Scott Steffes, having him on the air 3 or 4 times a week live, and we just think Steffes is just a wonderful organization. They are good, honest people. They do a great job dealing with farmers. They're the kind of people, if I'm selling my farm or if I'm going to sell or list my tractor, that I would want to do business with because you can trust them. And it's just been a great relationship.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. And how many stations are on the Linder Farm Network?
There's a total of about 40 if you count both the stations and now FM translators. So we cover all the way from Fergus Falls to the southern Minnesota border.
And you have something called the Ketelsen's Comments, right?
Yeah, I do commentaries on the air about ag issues, and it's interesting. In politics, we tend to argue about issues that people disagree on, but there are so many issues that people do agree on, and those are the ones I talk about. And there's so many different examples in agriculture that people agree on what we should have for ag policy. So I try to zero in on that, be an advocate for farmers on the air, because we need farmers. We all need farmers, and so that's one of the things that I do.
So what does it mean to you to be able to tell a farmer's story if you get the chance?
You know, it's really an honor to be able to do that. I've been doing it for so many years. I've had farmers who have called me up and they've said, you know, I was thinking about getting out of business, but I've heard you guys on the air giving a good positive message, and I've stayed in business, and I'm glad I did. I hear from farmers saying, I've brought my sons and daughters into the farm. I've heard from them. So if you can do something good, you've accomplished something. Maybe I've done something good, and that's what makes the job a lot of fun.
So do you have a most memorable interview or an event that you covered?
You know, I've interviewed presidents. I interviewed Lech Wałęsa when he was the president over in Poland. If there's one in particular, I don't think one. Hubert Humphrey was wonderful. Paul Harvey, I interviewed him. He was wonderful. There's a lot of people that I've talked to. But I do have one story I can tell you.
Oh, I'd love to hear it.
Okay, well, this is a true story. At Farm Fest each year, we have our noon hour Ag Jamboree. And we're live on the air at 12 o'clock. And it was very hot. That's in August. And I was drinking a lot of water to stay hydrated.
As you should.
And right behind the forum building where we have our show, there's a large row of the blue porta potties. And right before it was noon to go on the air, I thought, I better go take care of things. So I ran, and there was a line of about 20 people at the porta potties. They were all full. And I knew I had 1 minute. So I saw one that still showed open, so I cut in front of the line, ran as fast as I could, jumped in, locked the door, but I wasn't alone. There was a little lady in there, and she was sitting and I was standing. And I didn't know 2 people would fit in a porta potty at the same time, but you can get 2 in there.
But you did.
And I went back and got on the air with Orion, and occasionally you do get shook up, and that was one of those days I was a little bit shook up.
I would say so.
But it was kind of a funny story after the fact, yeah.
So you are in the National Broadcasters Hall of Fame. When did that happen?
That was just last year. Actually, I was president of the National Association of Farm Broadcasters in 1991 or 92. I've been their Farm Broadcaster of the Year, and they recently put me in the Hall of Fame. Actually, it's not something I wanted because I'm not retired. That's supposed to be for retired people, I think, but it was a nice honor to get.
You're just that incredible, I suppose.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
So when did you start to get into radio, or was there someone or something that inspired you to get behind the mic?
I grew up on a farm in eastern Iowa. I always enjoyed radio, but when I went to college, I wanted to be a forest ranger, believe it or not. And I worked for the campus radio station doing sports for something kind of fun to do. And I found out radio was a lot of fun. And so I did sports in college. When I graduated, I had an opportunity at a station to do farm and decided to give that a try. And it's been a great run. A lot of fun.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So with such a big social media presence out there nowadays, have you noticed your audience start to change? Or is it a little tougher to keep up with the change of times?
You know, we're on social media. We're on Twitter and we're on Facebook and all of that. It's interesting, radio is stronger than it's ever been. And radio and social media make just a great combination. But radio for young farmers, actually the biggest listenership ever. For total farmers, the biggest listenership ever. So both are a wonderful thing. If I'm an advertiser, I'm going to have a social media presence, but I'm sure going to have a radio presence, especially for reaching farmers. It's the best.
Good. So, do you have any plan on retiring soon, or are you still having fun out there?
No, Paul Harvey was on the air till he was 94 and still going strong. And I don't know, I enjoy what I do. I can travel where I want to go, and it's a great life. So I have a lot of friends that have retired who are quite bored. And I don't want to be bored.
It's never fun to be bored.
No, this is fun. This is not like work.
To stay up to date on all of their egg updates and news, tune in to Linder Farm Network at 1310 KGLB or visit their website at linderfarmnetwork.com.